Good evening, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Also give all praises to the earthly mother, the Holy Spirit. I pray that they bless this lesson this evening and that we get some more deeper understanding of the events that are coming on the world and the things that the Most High is directing to come upon the earth. It's kind of a little bit of a part two of from the video from last week. A little bit talking still a little bit about the movie from Black Panther and some other things. I actually had a chance to actually go and check out the movie, and it was actually a really good movie. There was quite a few things in the movie that I picked up on, but I'm not going to go over all that. A lot of people are doing a lot of different videos discussing some things that they've seen and things like that. There's just a couple of things that I thought was actually really interesting that I kind of wanted to touch on, and I actually want to touch on it also with sorry, some of the scriptures from the other books as well. Um, I want to talk about how, of course, we all know how the other nations have defiled Israel and how that was part of the curses. And I want to talk about that really quick and get a couple of scriptures that kind of goes along with that. And let's read Micah chapter 4, verse 11. Now also many nations are gathered against thee that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. And that's what has happened. Okay? If we go to 12, but they know not the thoughts of the Most High, neither understand they his counsel, for he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. And let's go to verse 13. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hooves brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Now, really, if you look at actually the movie of Black Panther, this is exactly what was talked about going on. Okay, the defiling of the people. Killmonger was talking about how his people had been defiled, and treated wrong all over the world. And in the movie, they had they ended up having two different paths to get to the same point. Killmonger actually wanted to use the weapons that they had in Wakanda to actually empower the people to fight back against the oppressors. And the Hamites there from Wakanda didn't want to go that route. They wanted to go the everyone can get along, the get along gang route, and everybody come together and let's work together and fix it together. And we're going to get into that actually a little bit this evening because those are the two options, but the Most High is already set in motion. And if you look at verse 13, he's already telling you right here in Micah how it's going to go down. Let's read Micah 4:11 through 13 one more time. It's like almost the entire, Bible in a nutshell in 3 verses. Now also many nations are gathered against thee that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of the Most High, neither understand they his counsel, for he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hooves brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Most High, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Now the sheep eventually are going to be given power. Okay? And that's what this is also talking about. And that's what we're going to be getting into with some of these other books as well. And we're going to go into some other books that talks about how the Most High is going to give the sheep power to recompense the people who have treated them wrong. So the whole get along gang at the end of the movie, after the credits and everything else, that might be how the other nations seem to want to have it go down, but that's not how the Most High has planned it. And we'll go over the scriptures that kind of talks about that. Let's go over another scripture here that talks about how Israel will be defiled. Um, Isaiah, book of Isaiah, chapter 51, verse 23. Okay. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. Actually, no, let's go up. Let's start at mm, let's go to let's start with Isaiah 51 and 21. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith the Most High, the Lord and thy God, that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thine hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over. Okay? So, and we're going to get into this whole thing with the cup being passed, okay, and how the other nations have not drank from the, haven't drank the dregs of the cup. They've drank like the strained wine, okay, that they've drank, they haven't had to go through the things that Israel's gone through, okay, you know, what is it called? Well, we'll get into it a little bit more when we start reading some of the other books really quick, okay, but the other nations have defiled Israel, and they were allowed to do that, but in order for them to be able to experience, their blessings, Israel had to be at the bottom. Okay. And in the movie, no one's really worried about the plight of the people outside of Wakanda. Wakanda has all, and the people there in Wakanda had all of the technological advances, but they were not worried about the other people. Okay. And so that was like the whole theme of the story. And at the end, of course, they want to open up their borders and start to share some of their information, in order to make the world a better place. But even still, as opposed to, um, helping out their people, they're still concerned with just helping out the entire world. Now, now what we've had is like a lot of false prophets that have been used to lead our people astray. Okay. And then we're going to talk about that really quick also. Let's read that out of Micah 3 and 11. Okay. Micah chapter 3, verse 11. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. Okay. So, the other nations have, set people up to lead our people astray. Okay. And to keep them thinking that, yeah, you know what, we can all get along, we can all work together, and we can make this a better place. But this is never intended to be a better place for us. It's always been intended to be a better place for all the other nations. And it's always been a place for us to be at the bottom until we served our time and served our punishment. Okay. When the Most High says that time is done, then that time is done. There's no getting out of it for us until the Most High says that time is done. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to get some of these things. And I feel that that time is done. That all those signs that we've been having with the August 21st, okay, last year, okay, and September 23rd, okay, and the super blue blood moon that we just had. And you start to see all these different things that are going on in the world. I mean, every single day you look up, there's other things that, there's other signs that are coming up. A couple of days ago, there was these I don't know if they said they're UFOs or whatever else. No one knows exactly what they are. They showed up in Wisconsin, and I'll try to find a link and leave it in there. There's all these things that are happening all over the world. These of course, they're having all these storms all over the place. These volcanic eruptions all over the place. Wars being set up in the Middle East. I watched a video talking. I remember you might want to research this on your own. Talking about how they found oil in the Golan Heights, which is around the Valley of Megiddo, and that there's more oil and natural gas there than anywhere else in the world. So that might be what draws, gets Gog and Magog and draws them in, and they start having the war to fight over natural resources. And so I mean, there's things that are happening all over the world, and there's no going back. I want to say March 26th, China starts the petro yuan, which therefore starts to go against the petrodollar, which then is going to wreak even more havoc on the United States economy. There's all these different things that are going on all over the world. Okay, and let's see here. So if, as you're looking here at this picture, you have two groups, and you have two paths. In order to raise the people up. You have Killmonger, who wants to use the weaponry to support his people. Okay, and you have T'Challa here, who wants to use the technology that he has here in order to bring the world together to make the world a better place for everyone. You know, but we'll talk more about that shortly. Okay. Another thing with this false prophets. Let's go ahead and read this. This is out of the Nag Hammadi. It's in the book of Zostrianos. Okay, the Nag Hammadi here, book of Zostrianos. Let's see here. Do not baptize yourselves with death, nor entrust yourselves to things inferior to you, as if to superior things. Flee the madness and the bondage of femininity, and choose for yourselves the salvation of masculinity. We want to, yeah, so it's about not looking at inferior things, but looking to superior things. Okay, inferior things are looking into these other churches or these other nations to tell you the truth. Okay, when you got to look to our power. Okay, our power is the one that's going to teach you the truth. He's the one that's going to send the Holy Spirit to teach you and to remind you of the things that you knew before. Okay, but we've been taught by the other nations, and the other nations aren't going to tell us the truth about absolutely anything. And it's not that they don't know the truth. They don't know the truth. How can they teach the truth? Okay. So, when you get into some of these other books, it go a lot more in depth into a lot of other things. Okay. And you come to the conclusion when you start to find more information, more understanding, you start to realize that there's you can't get out of this matrix without the Most High. The Most High has to choose you and has to wake you up. I said, I didn't get to this point where I'm at because I'm so smart. I got it because of election. It has nothing to do with anything that I've done. I sin just like other people, but the only reason that I'm at in this spot being used by the Most High is through election, and that's talked about in Paul. It's not because I'm better than other people. I do things better than other people. I'm a sinner just like anybody else. So the only way that I've made, I made it to the point where I can actually be used is through election. And I think that we need to all make sure and that's why we have to thank the Most High every day that He's blessed us to get to this point, because it's only through election that we're going to be saved. It's not going to be through our actions. Yes, after we find out that we've been elected and we're in this position, then yes, we want to follow the laws as best of our ability. Okay, but there's other laws that there are also from other books and other things that we are supposed to do as well. And if you want to know more about that, you can look into the research the Essenes. There's other things that you can learn from other books as well that have been hidden. So you can't always just look at the books that the other nations have approved for you. There are other things that they require more time, knowledge, and dedication. And if you want to know more about that, study the books of the Essenes. Okay, that's some good information, a lot of great information, very pertinent information. Okay, I'll leave it at that. If you want to learn more, you will study that out yourselves, and the Most High will lead you to these other books to study and to read and to learn about. Okay, now what I notice here in the movie, the other nations are used to dictating everything. They're used to being the ones that are going to dictate the punishment that we get when we mess up. When we break their laws, they're the ones that are dictating, okay, you're going to get 20 years for this. Well, if one of us does it, we might only get 5 years for it. But if you do it, you Hebrews do it, you're going to get 20. So see, they've been in this situation for so long that they don't know how to accept punishment from someone else. Okay. And see, in this movie, that's how it works out. That Killmonger, well, let me look at my notes here. Payments for sins. Everyone has to pay for their sins. Everyone has to pay for their sins. We have to pay for ours. Okay. And that's why we've been serving our captivities, because we're paying for the sins of our forefathers. And when people say, well, Most High is not a respecter of persons, he's not a respecter of persons, we're all equal. Yeah, okay. It goes the other way. And I talked about this in one of my other videos about the respecters of persons. Okay. Everyone is going to get their blessings, and they're all going to get their curses for breaking the laws. Okay. It is depends on the order that is going to happen. The Hebrews, or the chosen people, not all the Hebrews, of course, the chosen seed, they got the curses first. Okay. And all the other nations got their blessings first. And that's how it's been now for the last 6,000 years. Now, since the Most High is not a respecter of persons, now the chosen seed is going to get their blessing, and the other nations are going to now serve out their curses, because the Most High is righteous, and he's fair, and he's just. But see, what's going on now is that now the other nations don't want to see that cup switching. They want to dictate how, they're like, well, yeah, we want to do it the way, the Black Panther guy wants to do it, the way the king here wants to do it. He wants to just, all come together and work together, but Killmonger was like, no, 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 we want to be on top. Our people are going to be on top. Well, it's going to go down the way Killmonger was saying, and that's in the scriptures. And at Micah 4, that's what it was talking about right there. And we're going to get into that even more right now. Okay. And what was kind of crazy was I was watching another video. Brother Zabak did a video kind of breaking down what he saw when he watched the movie. He was breaking down the movie here for Black Panther, and he said something that was kind of that was interesting. Was when Killmonger was sending out the weaponry, he's trying to send out to his people in order for them to be able to fight back. The movie actually used probably the Edomite to actually control the ship that actually shot down all the weapons. So which was, I kind of found that kind of ironic. That you used, the Edomite here to destroy the weapons that were being sent to aid his people. Okay. So it's the same thing as today. Is like, same as the Edomites are the ones that are in charge. This is their world, and they're the ones that are used to sabotage our restoration. Okay, and they give us a little bit of information here and there, but not all of it. Okay, so all the other nations are confederate against against the chosen seed, against the Hebrews. Okay, and they're always working together to sabotage our our ascension back into our position. And the same thing kind of happened here, even in the movie, when they used him to use the ship to shoot down the weapons that were being sent to the people in order for them to be able to fight back against their oppressors. Okay. Now let's see. At the end of the credits, at the end of the movie, of course, where's that last scene that showed the king wanting to use his technology to bring the world together. He's talking about how we're a lot of us were more alike, than different, and all this other stuff. So, and even at that point, you know, the Gentiles were still coming from a position where they felt superior. Even when he was trying to say, we're gonna come together, we're gonna share our technology, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and still the other Gentiles even showed how they feel superior to any person of color. When he was, it's because the person there alluded. He goes, "How can a country of goat herders pretty much show us anything?" So even still, they even had to put that little jab in there, even at the end. Okay. But what I'm going to show you now is, and through scriptures here, is that the other nations don't get to dictate how this is going to go on or how things are going to go down from this point. Okay. It would be better to get down on your knees and pray to the Most High that He will spare you. Because have done videos about how there are going to be some Gentiles that are going to be spared. They're going to be spared. Okay. Okay. If you have that spirit in you, you know, He is going to serve, He is going to spare some Gentiles. They're going to serve the Hebrews, but you're going to be serving the Hebrews in a righteous kingdom. That's going to be much different. Okay. And how the Most High decides He wants to do that, that's on Him. Okay. But He will spare some people. So instead of trying to dictate how things are going to go down, it'd be best to, have a humble spirit and pray to the Most High and accept the truth of what's coming on the earth. Okay. Because like I said, some Gentiles will be spared. They will be serving, but they will be spared. Okay. Now, so it's going to go down more so the way Killmonger had envisioned it in this movie. And we're going to talk about that right now. Okay. And it's not a matter of if people like it or not. Okay. It's not a matter of if people agree with how Killmonger was talking about how things are going to go down, because the Most High has already predetermined how everything is going to happen, how everything is going to go down. And we're going to look at a couple of scriptures here that prove that from the other books as well. Okay. Hold on here. Hold on. Okay. So, we have the four horsemen, that are going to be let loose on the earth. Okay. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read from the book of Second Baruch, chapter 13, verses 4 through 12. In the book of Second Baruch, I'm reading out of the Sefer. Okay. Got a lot of really good information, a lot of good books in here. Okay. Here we go. So that if ever those prosperous cities, talking about the other nations, okay, say, why has El Elohim brought upon us this retribution? And when the other nations start to, realize that there's retribution being brought up against them, this is what they're going to say. Say unto them, you and those like you, who shall have seen this evil, this is the evil and retribution which is coming upon you and upon your people. And it's destined time that the nations may be thoroughly smitten, and then they shall be in anguish. And if they say at that time, for how long? You will say to them, ye who have drunk the strained wine, drink ye also of its dregs. The judgment of the lofty one who has no respect of persons. That's where you get your understanding of when you're reading in Paul, but he has not a respect of persons. He's getting that from Second Baruch, and he's explaining here that the judgment of the lofty one who has no respect of persons. That means he's going to judge his people and he's going to judge the other nations. The other nations have not been judged for what they've done, so that's what we're moving into now. And let's continue. On this account, he had aforetime no mercy on his own sons, but afflicted them as his enemies, because they sinned. Then, therefore, were they chastened, that they might be sanctified. So the Hebrews, the chosen seed, were going to be chastened first, so that then they can be sanctified here at the end of the 6,000-year reign of men. Now, but let's continue. But now, ye peoples and nations, ye are guilty, because ye have always trodden down the earth, and used the creation unrighteously. For I have always benefited you, and ye have always been ungrateful for the beneficence. Okay? So, he's already showing you right here. He afflicted his people first, his chosen seed first, and he's going to save them, and then the other nations are going to be chastened after that. That's what it's talking about right here. He said, he is not a respecter of persons. If he kicked our butt first, he's going to kick everybody else's butts after that. Plain and simple. And they don't get to dictate how that butt kicking is about to happen. They don't get to say, well, let's just get together and let's all just say, it's all okay. and then we'll just all work it out together from here on out. We'll do it on our own, Most High. You don't need to come down. We'll fix it together. No, no, no. It's not going to work like that. Okay. All right. And I want to read something else here out of the book of Enoch. I like the sword here with this lion's head, kind of a representation of what the Most High is going to do for His people. Okay. This is also in the book of the Sefer. Okay, and this is from the book of Enoch. Okay, here we go. Then I saw that a man who wrote the Sefer at the word of Yahweh opened the Sefer of destruction, of that destruction which the last 12 shepherds wrought, and pointed out before Yahweh of the sheep, that they destroyed more than those who preceded them. So these people, these shepherds, I've talked about this. I had a video that kind of went into this quite a bit when I said that this is going to be my last video. It is finished. I went into this quite a bit on that video. So sometimes you have to watch some of the older videos in order to get some of the information I'm giving now. Okay, because it builds upon, it all builds on each other. Okay. So the shepherds were the ones who have been in control of the Hebrews, and they've just been killing more and more than they were supposed to. But the Most High has been keeping track, okay, of how many they've been killing, who they've been killing, because the Hebrews were numbered. So He's been keeping track of who's been killing who, how many they've been killing, okay, and it's gonna be they're gonna have to make an account of what they've been doing. But a lot of people believe like, oh well, I'm covered in the blood of Jesus, and He doesn't see any of my sins. That's the lie that's been told to many people. Let's continue here with verse 26. I saw also that Yahweh of the sheep came to them, and taking in his hand the scepter of his wrath, seized the earth, which became rent asunder, while all the beasts and birds of heaven fell from the sheep. The beasts, okay, they're talking about, and the birds are talking about the other nations. Okay, let's read that again, part real quick. While all the beasts and birds of heaven fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth, which closed over them. And he starts hearing now about all these other nations hiding, trying to go underground, trying to go to their bunkers. There's been stories about them trying to leave to New Zealand or Switzerland. They're all trying to hide on these different places already right now. Okay, just read verse 27. I saw too that a large sword was given to the sheep, who went forth against all the beasts of the field to slay them. Okay, so this here is like a representation of that large sword that's given to the sheep in order to recompense their enemies. Okay, now see, like Esau got his sword, that was his blessing. Read about that in Genesis, I want to say 27, 40, 41. Now, also, now at the end, the Most High is going to give the sword or the power or representation to the Hebrews in order for them to get recompense for what's happened to them. You see that? So the sword's going to go from, and kind of like in the movie, how the Black Panther, like the other nations were using, guns and bullets and things like that. And the Black Panther's suit, was like his sword, his blessing. And his technology was so much more advanced that the weapons of Esau and the other nations had absolutely no effect. That's kind of like what's going to happen here when the Most High brings up His people. Then their weaponry and their technology is going to be so much more advanced that the other nations won't be able to match it or do anything. And what does the other nations do? Do they want to fight? Let's see. Let's go to verse 28. But all the beasts and birds of heaven fled away from before their face. See, they run away. But see, like right now, when they have the sword, they want to act tough and they want to, go from place to place and take over everybody's lands and act a certain way. But when that switches, they're not going to want to fight. And that's what this is talking about right here. So that sword is going to be given to the Hebrews eventually, really soon, because the time is just about up. We just had our last full moon. I want to say last night. I feel that that's probably the last full moon of this last Jubilee year, which is representing here the 120th Jubilee, which is then representing that 6,000 year period. I think it was a very significant full moon last night. And if you start looking at all the things that are happening on the earth, you can't deny that the world is just falling apart. That everything is just, you know, just going downhill very, very rapidly. And the only way that you can not see it is if you're putting your head down in the sand. You just don't want to see it. And that, I mean, a lot of people are in that state right now. Okay, so Esau was given the sword, you know, and that was his blessing. And he was given that in order to be able to enjoy his blessing. Okay, and Jacob here is going to get his time. He's going to get the blessing of the sword in order for him to be able to enjoy his blessing. No respecter of persons. Most High is not a respecter of persons. So the same thing, that Esau has been able to do, Jacob's going to be able to do as far as giving him the sword and giving him the power and giving him rulership. Now I want to read something here because I have this older Bible here. I want to make sure I didn't forget it this time. I got it this time. This is actually, let me get this out of, let me make sure I get this right. The book of Ecclesiasticus. Let me get it real quick. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 6. And as you can tell here, this got precepts on the side. This is the older Bible that I have. And as you can see, we're going to look at Romans 12, and I want to say 19, and 2 Peter 2 and 9, which actually is precepted here with Ecclesiasticus chapter 12. So, like I said before, I guess it's good enough for Paul and Peter to actually go through and use Ecclesiasticus, but the Christian churches hide all these books and say that they're not inspired. So it's good enough for the New Testament prophets, but I guess it's not enough for the Christian church who was hidden all these books. Okay, so let's look at let's see, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 12. Let's go to verse 6. For the Most High hateth sinners. Okay, I've heard that saying at the churches. Yeah, no. He doesn't hate the sinners. He hates the sin, but he loves the sinners. So you can't teach that kind of garbage when you got this kind of stuff already in the books. Okay, for the Most High hateth sinners, and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Let's take a look here at Romans 12 and 19. Let's get that real quick. Romans 12 and 19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Most High. So vengeance is the Most High's. He's going to repay. He is going to give he's going to give his people the sword when it's their time to rule. Just like he gave it to Esau and the other nations, and he gave it for them to enjoy their, blessing. He's going to give it also to the sheep, his chosen seed. Okay. Now let's take a look here at 2 Peter 2 and 9. Okay. Let me get that. 2 Peter 2 and 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of the temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. So yeah, he's not a respecter of persons. He knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and he knows how to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. So the unjust are going to be reserved. They're going to be, given, going to be held there, until the day of judgment in order to be punished. Okay, and it's not going to be like, hey, let's just get together now and work everything out. Let's forget about the past and let's not worry about judgment. Let's just work going forward. Let's just come together and bring everything together and going forward, and we'll be good. That's not how it's going to go down. Okay, and as you can see, there's actually a few other precepts on the side here. I'll make sure I just took a little bit of a picture so you guys can check them out. You guys can look them up yourselves. But there's this whole Bible that I have. It's about 200 years old. Has all these precepts, even in the Apocrypha. Okay, and like I said, it's really rare that you see a Bible like this. But we'll bring it out from time to time to kind of show how these other books connect. Okay, so like I said, judgment is coming on the earth. It's already here. It's already, it's slowly starting to manifest itself, but there's a lot of things that we don't even see, that are happening all over the world that we're not even aware of and we're not even seeing right now. All we can do is have faith that the Most High, um, is faithful to His word and what He said He's going to do, which I have all faith in. I have nothing but faith in the Most High is going to fulfill His word. Because this is His movie, and I'm just one of the players in it. Just like all of us are all players in His movie. Okay. I pray that this video blesses you. Um, and I want to say all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, also the earthly mother, the Holy Spirit. I pray that they bless you and keep you and increase your knowledge and understanding. Okay. And keep fighting the good fight. Shalom.